Brenning turns, here's the pitch, ground ball, past Nelson, base hit. Whitaker's coming. The throw will be late. The Barnstormers win.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Stormers on Deck, where we spend some time off the field with members of the Lancaster Barnstormers. I'm Brian Cass. Chad Landers going to join us a little later, but before we start chatting with some members of the 2017 squad, let's get to our Barnstormer trivia question of the week. This one's for all you super fans out there. What is the club's all-time attendance record at Clipper Magazine Stadium? We can tell you it happened on April 25th, 2008. So try to get a good guess that's sort of in the ballpark. We'll have the answer for you later in the show. And coming up after a quick break, we'll talk to the Barnstormers' new hitting coach, who is a very familiar face. Stay with us. Welcome back to Stormers on Deck. Now, the 2017 version of the team is unique in that all of its coaches are in their first years on the job. And we have already talked to manager Ross Peoples and pitching coach Scott Patterson. So now let's go to Clipper Magazine Stadium, where we find our very own Chad Landers. Hey, Chad, take it away.
All right, thanks, Brian. We are here at Clipper Magazine Stadium, and it's time for our Coach's Corner segment. We are going to get some insight from the new Lancaster Barnstormers hitting coach this season. It is Josh Bell joining us on the show today. Thanks so much for stopping in here and chatting with us for a bit.
Not a problem at all.
We are excited to talk with you. Let's get right into it. You played with the Barnstormers last season, had an all-star season, so that must have felt great, and then switched over to the coaching staff. So kind of walk us through what goes through that decision when you were starting to make that transition.
Well, my decision was based on, I always told myself if I was physically able to play, I would try to play. And I went to winter ball this past winter in the Dominican Republic, and I ended up hurting my knee. So I was looking for a job. My buddy started a 11U team back home in Arizona, and I was kind of helping him do that. And then I called Ross, and once I found out he was the manager, and I just was checking in to see if they had a coaching job available, and he said that they did. So I took this, and that was the big reason. I always knew I wanted to stay in baseball, and just physically not being able to play is what got me here.
Well, how cool is it? It's you, Scott Patterson, and Ross. You're all first-time coaches. How is that dynamic for you guys?
I like it, and you know, I tell the players all the time that I think that they need to take advantage of you know, just the personnel that we have. I think we're all easy to talk to, and you know, I bust my butt for these guys in the cage, and it's I think it's a good opportunity for them, and it's great for me to still be involved, and I'm loving it.
Perfect. Well, you have a loaded hitting lineup, so that must be a nice luxury. Does that make your job easier or harder with all those great bats in that lineup?
I mean, it can be. It's a two-way street.
Okay.
You know, I think the biggest thing is building something with each individual player and seeing them when they're good, seeing them when they're not feeling good. You know, asking them how they feel and how we can get back to what we were doing. But that's the part that I love is being here early when you're not, you know, setting up times with guys to come in early or hit on the field and just get things figured out. I think that's what's really enjoyable for me at this point. But yeah, I mean, it's just each individual guy has different things that they like to do, and just finding those out. So it's been a good time.
Guys like Casey Hobson and Blake Galen love playing in this ballpark because of the short wall. Do you coach that into their swing, or is that just a byproduct of such a good swing for the lefties?
I mean, obviously having that wall is great, but I think it kind of plays different here because the pitchers know, and I think a lot of the times the pitchers pitch to the parks here and not necessarily to like a hole in your swing or something that they might see. As a left-handed hitter, and you kind of take the left field out of the equation and you just stick to an approach, or you know, just stick with what they're giving you, and kind of battle not try to battle the wall or knowing that the wall's right there. I just think you just got to, you know, take it out of your mind. Okay.
Cool, so don't focus on it too much. Now, when guys like Blake Galen and Darian Sanford get signed and they head back to the big leagues, you know, what kind of personal pride do you take in that, especially for a guy like Darian Sanford, who had come from pretty low-level baseball and was clicking on all cylinders there for you guys for a little bit?
Well, I really enjoyed him being here. You know, he worked. He really worked from when he first got here to when he left. I mean, he was a completely different guy. You know, just he put in a lot of time and a lot of effort into trying to perfect his craft and do what he was doing. And you know, when he got out of here, he was leading the league in hits. So I think it shows that he was doing something right. And I mean, I don't take credit for that. I don't take anything, you know, about that. I told the guys that I'm going to work my butt off to get you guys out of here, and you know, it's up to them if they want to put the work in or not. But you know, I'm here for it.
Cool, pretty cool moment a couple weeks ago when you guys were playing at York, and you had to come into the game and play. And did pretty well. Tell everybody about that if they didn't see what was going on in that game against York on the Sunday.
Well, we've had some of the guys that I know from in the league. They said, "I know you're getting ready to activate yourself. I know you want to play again." And I said, "No. If I'm activated, it's because something went wrong."
Okay.
So we had Gindel. His hamstring was, you know, kind of bothering him, a little tweak, and then we had, you know, a little bit of a scuffle or something in York. So
a little. Okay. Yeah.
2 guys get ejected, and then here's Coach Bell into the lineup. So
yeah, tell everybody what happened. It was great.
3-1 count, got a good pitch, and hit a homer.
Yeah, and it was a pretty good homer too. It did not just scrape over. Like, you got a hold of it.
It was in the wind. It was in the wind.
Yeah. What was that feeling like as you were going around? You're like, did you feel like, oh, I still got it, or what? What was that?
No, it was kind of surreal. I kind of went to the plate, not with any expectations of anything, but after he threw me the first pitch, he threw me a changeup, and I didn't know, like, as a coach, like, should I go up here and try to put in a bat together, or, you know, do I just take it, like, you know, like a regular pitch? I was kind of battling that, but first pitch changeup that he threw me, I was kind of like, oh man, I gotta go for it. So ended up getting a good pitch, but you know, it was exciting. The guys were pumped up. So
I would hope so. Are you able to say to them, all right, hey, look, I can come off the bench and do this, so you better start listening to me when I tell you how to fix that swing?
No.
Okay. Well, it was a lot of fun to watch. Real quickly before we go, do you have any superstitions that you've carried over from your playing days to your coaching days?
No. I think now you actually have a lot less time now. I mean, as a player, it's like if there's 3 groups, you know you're hitting one group and that's it. But as the coach, you're there for all 3 groups, and there's not much time to do anything. So I think that it's just kind of getting with the players and getting with their routines.
Great. All right. Well, again, thanks for joining us. It was a lot of fun to kind of revisit some of that. We really appreciate it. And yeah, have fun the rest of the season as you guys go through the second half and hopefully are headed towards the playoffs. It was a real pleasure.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much. All right, we'll end it right there. We've still got more to come here on Stormers on Deck, so we'll be right back after this commercial break. Stormers on Deck continues here on BRC11, and we are having a lot of fun watching all the power in the lineup of the Barnstormers, but we've got to give the speedsters some love as well. So we are joined now by Rico Noel, who is at the top of the lineup there, dealing with all the on-base privileges that he has. So thanks for joining us today, Rico. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. What do you think of playing here for the Barnstormers? It's your first year here, right?
Oh yeah, loving it. Lancaster has been great for me. The city is taking us in very well, and as a first-year player, it's been very comfortable and an easy transition.
Give us a little bit of your thoughts and philosophies on your speed. You tend to be up towards the top of the lineup here for the Barnstormers. So kind of what is your mindset when you go into a game?
Just try to wreak havoc as much as possible. Try to put some pressure on the defense as much as possible, but at the same time still be aggressive at the plate, and just try to get in scoring position for those guys behind me to drive me in, because the easier I can make it on those guys, the better it is for the team and the more wins we get. So.
Yeah, I mean, talk about some of those hitters in the lineup. There are just some guys that can absolutely hit the ball a long way. So it must be so nice to get on base and then watch those guys go to work.
Oh yeah, definitely. After I get my job done, get in second, third, or get to second or third, I mean, it's great to see those guys do their job. And like I said, whenever you can make it easier on them to do their job and they're not getting pitched around as as much, or you know, when they do get pitched around, that you're already in scoring position, so a base hit will do it, and they don't have to drive the ball at the ballpark every time.
Yeah, it's great. It's got to be a lot of fun. We're really enjoying watching. The whole team really seems to be meshing well, and that kind of comes from the coaching staff. You know, Ross Peoples is a first-year manager, but also Josh Bell, who's the hitting coach, is a first-year coach here. So what is it like, you know, with those guys in charge kind of leading the way?
It's very comfortable. Those guys have been great. Like I said, just like the city of Lancaster, those guys have been great with the transition coming here. And as first-year manager and coaches, they've done a great job, man. And that's a blessing to be around those guys who can make us comfortable and let us go out there and play the right way, but make sure we are playing the right way and keep that going.
Now, you guys in the Atlantic League in general are always trying to get back to affiliated ball, and one of the interesting things about you is that you were in the Yankee system for a little bit and worked your way up through there. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of your trip through that Yankees organization and what you got to do?
Well, actually, I got drafted by the San Diego Padres in 2010 in the 5th round, and worked my way up in their organization to AAA. And then I went to the Yankees mid-season of 2015 and was in AAA, AA, AAA, and then got to the big leagues that September and that October.
And what was your role? I mean, it seemed like you were there for kind of a specific purpose.
Yes, definitely. The Yankees wanted me to be there just to come in the clutch situation, down one, tie ball game, and be that tying or game-winning run. I had a couple other opportunities where I went in the game, not when it wasn't a clutch situation, but that was my role. It was an important role, it was a small role, but it was something that I took very seriously, and it was great, man. I loved that time with the Yankees. It was as good as it gets.
Did you get nervous at all with such big names on the Yankees roster, and you know you kind of were there to be the speedster guy? How were the nerves when you were in that situation?
To be honest, I'm not really that type of guy, you know. But it is a blessing to be around those guys and be able to pick those guys' brains. I mean, that first day at Fenway Park, it was kind of like, whoa, like I'm in the big rivalry in my debut, and that was great. But the nerves weren't as bad. I feel like I prepared, and I was ready for that, and yeah, it was definitely very comfortable for me.
Well, then you must feel right at home here, then, for sure, if you don't have any nerves. Is there a favorite Yankee that you played with while there?
Whew.
Did you have a favorite guy?
Nah, I couldn't say I had a favorite guy. Like I said, the whole organization was great. Like it was, you know, as a first year.
And Jeter was gone, right?
He was gone.
So
I was a year after him.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I was a year after him. So that was a little different. But yeah, everything was just perfect. Like I was surprised. Like as a first year player going there, I was kind of like, whoa, at first, but. Just kind of looking around, but man, everything was very comfortable, and you know, being in the playoff hunt was legit, because I mean every game counted from September all the way through that wild card game we played.
Now, growing up, you said you are originally from Louisiana, made your way to Oklahoma. Is there any baseball player that you kind of fashioned your game after, or had a favorite baseball player growing up as a kid?
I actually lived in Tacoma, Washington, in the middle of Louisiana and Oklahoma for about 5 years, and that's when I started playing baseball and got into it. So Seattle Mariners was my favorite team growing up, and I saw A-Rod, I saw Griffey, I saw Ichiro. And obviously, Ichiro being a speed guy was probably my top favorite, but obviously Griffey and was also another favorite of mine.
He was my guy growing up too. You know, as a young kid, Griffey was the guy that I kind of fashioned all mine off, and the excitement level that you saw when you watched Griffey. So that's kind of cool. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about kind of your experience here in Lancaster? What are you doing? Where are you staying? What do you like about it?
I'm out in Lidditz.
Okay.
It's been great. You know, it's a little different culture out here sometimes, and I love to embrace that. I've been to Venezuela, I've been to Mexico, I've been a lot of different places. I'm from a military family, so I've traveled around, and to come out here and see this as well is different. I haven't really got much experience in the Northeast besides my time in the Yankees organization, so it's great. I love it. I was out in Lidditz a couple weeks ago, and I saw a horse and a buggy for the first time.
Okay, so welcome to Lancaster County.
That was great. I was like, whoa, I felt like I was in a movie.
Yeah.
You know, so it's great now. I see it on a regular basis, and I love it, yeah.
Awesome. Do you have any kind of game day rituals or maybe a favorite meal you like to eat? How's that work for you?
Ooh, nothing off the top of my head, but I do eat pretty healthy.
Okay.
So I try to stick to that. Try to stick in the weight room. Getting a pump before the game is definitely legit. Listening to my music and getting a little hyped up is just a normal type of routine I have.
Great. Well, it was fantastic getting to know you. We really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. Rico, Noel, we are up against another break, so we're going to step aside here on Stormers on Deck, but we'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to Stormers on Deck. It's time to talk to the pitching staff. Got to fit them in here on the show. We are joined now by the closer here for the Lancaster Barnstormers, Anthony Carter. Really appreciate you sharing some time with us.
Thank you for having me here.
Having a good start to the season for yourself. What do you think of playing here for the Lancaster Barnstormers? What's it been like for you?
It's been an experience. It's been nice being around a good group of guys and good coaching staff.
Yeah, speaking of the coaching staff, Scott Patterson used to pitch for the Stormers. Now he's the pitching coach. What's it like having him kind of tell you what to do and walk you through all of it?
It's different. Let's just say that.
Yeah?
It's different.
What do you like about his personality?
He's quirky. He's a goofball.
And does that work into kind of what you like? Are you a goofball too?
I mean, can be, but I like to laugh. It keeps everything easy.
Yeah, no, I agree. It makes it fun too, right? Baseball's supposed to be fun.
It's a game.
Right. And as far as the way, Ross is kind of running things in his first year, do you feel like everything's kind of going smooth and the team's clicking? How would you kind of characterize that?
I feel like it's going smooth. The team is clicking. I mean, he's hitting his bumps along the way where he has to learn, and he's adjusting to them.
Now you are at the back end of the rotation. You get to come in at the end there and close things out. Have had some success, right? What is it, 12 or 13 saves this season?
Somewhere around there,
right? What's that been like for you? What are you enjoying about that?
I've always liked coming in a situation where the game's on the line and it's all on my shoulders.
What is your mindset when you come in there? We don't get to talk to closers a lot. Usually we talk to starting pitchers, and it's totally different. They get the start and they're in complete command. You come in at the end and have to close it out. There is some pressure there, but what's your mindset?
I go in there and here it is, hit it if you can.
What's your favorite pitch? What do you feel like is your pitch?
Fastball or slider.
Okay, so
one of the two.
You do have a nice slider that you're comfortable
when it's
with.
there, yes.
What's the fastball reach?
This year, 97 maybe.
Okay, that's pretty good. Now, this is your first year with Lancaster. You did get drafted by the White Sox and made it to AAA. What was that experience like, and did you play with anybody that's well known now in the big leagues?
Catcher was Josh Fagley, who's with the A's.
Okay.
Other than that, I can't, off the top of my head,
Right.
not really.
What was your
Actually played with bullpen guy we have here, Daniel Moscos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you guys kind of knew each other.
Yeah. Experience, I mean, it's got to hit your spots a lot more than you can in the lower levels.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was fun. It was great travel. It was a good team.
Yeah, okay. And then you found your way to Japan.
Yeah.
How did that happen? What went down there?
After 2013 season, they come to me and asked me if I wanted to go out in the off season. And I felt like spring training, and they contacted me after spring training and wanted me to come over there. It was a lot of fun.
Which you like to have. We've already established that. What were some of the unique opportunities and instances over there that you kind of can tell us about?
Got to ride on the bullet train for the first time.
Oh yeah.
That was different. I've been on the trains here, and riding on that, it's a little different. It's very comfortable.
A bullet train. Okay, I've never been on that. So it's not scary. You're not.
No, you don't feel like you're moving at all.
Okay.
And then like being around the culture, the game, and during the game they have fans in the outfield that play instruments, and yeah.
They come out of the stands?
No, they're in the stands. They have their own section in the outfield where while you're hitting, they're cheering for the team, and it's different.
Of course, yeah, but it makes it a lot of fun. What about the food? I mean, is that hard to get used to out there?
If you like seafood and you venture on food, you're fine.
Okay, perfect. Well, what about when you're here in the States and getting ready for games? What's your routine like? What is your meal preparation like?
Whatever's whatever's provided for us in the clubhouse. Just grab something to eat on the way in the field, and whatever they give us for pregame spread.
Okay, so nothing.
No, I don't have a routine on that.
Okay. Do you have a routine when you go onto the field, or any kind of like superstitions or anything like that when you're getting ready to pitch?
Not that I know of.
Oh, okay. So you're superstition free.
Well, I mean, don't step on the white line. That's a common one.
Yeah, that's like one of the main ones in baseball, right? You grew up in Georgia. What was it like? Were you an Atlanta Braves fan? I mean,
Yep.
I would assume you'd have to be, right?
Oh yeah, my grandparents, big Braves fans, and grew up watching them. So.
Was there a favorite guy that you really liked? When I was growing up, I liked Greg Maddux, and then later on I loved Chipper Jones. What was it for you?
I like David Justice and Chipper Jones.
Okay.
Both of those guys.
But you're
Pitcher wise, I like watching Smoltz.
Oh yeah, he was a good one. Well, they had three. They had Maddux, Glavine, and Smoltz. It was kind of hard to choose. But
Yeah, those three. But Smoltz was fun to watch, especially when you got into the closing point of his
I know,
career.
wasn't that great that he went from a starting role and completely changed it up and went into closing, and then I guess that's kind of your thing now.
Yeah,
So.
that was intense to watch. I got to go to a couple games where he came in, and it was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. What's it like being here in Lancaster City? What kind of things do you do in your free time? What are you liking about Lancaster?
My free time, I golf.
Okay.
So as long as there's nice golf courses, and there have been, it's pretty easy. And then food's been like I'm big on food too, so.
Food and having fun.
Yeah. So it's simple things in life.
Yeah, I love golf too. Love playing some golf. Is there any particular course that you really liked in the area?
Royal Manchester. It's over north of York a
That's in
little
York
bit.
County.
Yeah, it's in York County. That one, we found that one is a really nice course.
Perfect. All right. Cool. Well, you've had a great first half of the season, and obviously we're wishing you the best of luck in the second half. And thanks so much for coming on. We're really enjoying getting to know the Barnstormers, and man, that trip to Japan sounds like it must have been hilarious.
Yeah, well, it was different.
Cool. All right, Anthony Carter joining us, and we're going to step aside for another break here on Stormers on Deck. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Stormers on Deck. One last order of business before we go. The answer to our trivia question from earlier in the show. We asked you if you knew what the Barnstormers club record is for total home attendance at Clipper Magazine Stadium. It happened on April 25th, 2008, and the number is 8,485 fans packing the Clip early in that season. Hope your guess was a little closer than mine was. But for now, that will do it for this edition of Stormers on Deck. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Brian Cast. We'll see you at the ballpark.